We are going into the mind of criminals to find out how they escaped from prison. We did a hide and seek in a prison, didn't we?
What was your crime?
I punched a small child or something. Which should be acceptable in the modern day, I think, but it's,
Criminals have been trying to escape prisons ever since their inception. In most cases, prison breaks fail.
Surely, like, nowadays, prison breaks are hard, like with the amount of security.
It must be as hard as possible.
Back in the day, you might be alright.
Isn't it crazy that, like, prison break artists, if they pull it off, they're actually kind of, like, respected, even though they've probably done something terrible and they should be in prison?
If you ask the general public, they'll probably be like, you should let them be out.
They managed to escape prison, so they deserve. Their will to want to actually live a normal life is
impressive.
Meanwhile, as a murderer.
Under the radar, 2 inmates were on garage duty outside the high fences of the prison. All it took was a fleeting glance.
Oh, what? But they'll let them out. What do you mean? They're out of the prison already. Like they're literally.
They're working.
All it took was a fleeting glance towards each other, a little nod, and they were off. They bolted out of the prison grounds as fast as they could, leaving the supervising guard staring after them in disbelief as he called in the escape on his radio. Once the coast was clear, the pair split up to go their separate ways, every man for himself. They were apprehended a few days later in a nearby bar.
Oh, but they got away. Like they
actually say got away, yeah. What they just did was go, fuck that, I'm out.
Do you know what that clip reminds me of? It's like at school when you're like running away from like a teacher.
From a teacher, is that a thing?
Yeah, like when there's been a fight outside and the teachers came out and everyone ran in different directions.
You'd think if you're running off like that, you'd have a plan in mind of like getting far away first of all. Like you wouldn't stay in a catchable area.
He said this a few days after though, in a nearby gas station though. So yeah, maybe.
So why would you stay nearby?
Why the fuck you nearby? Get on a train, get going.
Yeah, get out of there.
These 2 inmates removed a couple of cinder blocks and squeezed through the openings before throwing a blanket over a 25-foot high razor wire fence and fleeing into the woods. The holes in the wall were covered by posters, and they even made dummies out of pillows and blankets in their beds to buy them valuable time. After all that work, they were caught when a local resident saw tracks in the mud at a nearby creek and alerted the authorities.
Snitch.
I mean, they probably had a fun couple days.
Do you get more time in prison if you escape?
I would imagine so.
Get put back in, yeah.
So they have to deter it somehow. So yeah, they probably do give you
Get heavier sentence, yeah.
Think fast, act fast.
Oof.
Oh, love that.
After a few failed attempts over the course of the day, this jailbird decided to bide his time and wait for his moment. When one presented itself, he had to think fast and act fast. As the police moved away from the patrol car to process his transfer, this guy saw an opening as the garage door was closing. He sprinted out of the tiny opening with the best display of speed limbo you've ever seen in your life. As the roller door closed behind him, it took the cops valuable minutes to get out.
You gotta hit the slide, my guys. That was a movie moment.
Slide into slide cancel.
Slide cancel under, bro.
By this stage, he was long gone. He covered so much ground that not even a 2-hour sniffer dog search could find him. He was arrested the next day, and you could say his luck had run out. Pun very much intended.
Good timing on him, though.
Yeah.
Smash that.
Mission failed.
Slow and controlled, these guys calmly opened the gate and casually strolled out of the jail with no urgency at all.
Probably the way to do it, actually.
There aren't many scenarios where a prison guard and an escaped con can live happily ever after. She's seen running her hands through her hair and looking totally stressed out, rethinking her life choices. The following day, she's arrested, and the 3 guys on the run are apprehended.
Wait. So
she helped him.
She helped him. Why?
So they wooed her into helping her, having him.
A camera in the alley outside captured the men dressed in all white, casually walking away.
I feel like I could have, if you said, right, you've escaped prison, you have a day to get away. I feel like I could do it. I feel like
do it in video form. Sidemen prison break. Right, we go to prison, we will get those orange outfits again. And the aim of the video is to get as far as you can in 24 hours. Done.
I mean, there's a TV show where you...
Hunted, but it's fake.
Hunted,
but
yeah.
I just feel like, surely you pan ahead, you have a bit of fun set off, and you just literally...
There's cameras everywhere, there's witnesses everywhere.
But how far do you go before they give up?
Get to like South America.
Yeah, what if I go like Mexico or something?
And if your road to shore is even worse.
Yeah, we can't.
Your chance of prison breaker, fuck now, mate. You have no chance.
Oh, you can get fans to help you though. You could be like, look, mate, I'm out the pen. Can you just give me a lift to the sea?
Please, mate.
Hey, mate, can I
get on a boat and just stay out on a boat for ages.
A group of prisoners were being escorted through the garage on their way back to their cells. One is seen lingering, and soon after walks behind a transport van out of sight, with the guards going ahead and not noticing he's missing. All that's left for him to do is open the door, turn the key that's so conveniently sitting in the ignition, and start the van. It's like the stars have aligned and the universe is almost begging him to take his chances for freedom. He floors the van, smashing through the garage door, and is free and clear. Or so he thought. He crashed into some trees nearby and was arrested. Most people steal a car and then get sent to jail, not the other way around.
He couldn't drive.
After being arrested at a motel for theft, this woman found her way into a police holding cell. She was was left alone with her phone to try to arrange bail money and a life home. She struggles to break free of the cuffs, anchoring her to the wall in between checking text messages. Even though police say the cuffs were on its tightest setting, she was able to wriggle her dainty hands free. She took the keys off a hook on the wall and used them to open an emergency exit to quietly slip out the back door while no one was watching. She was busted an hour later when she returned to the same hotel where she was arrested.
Why would you go back? You go far.
To be fair, I guess if you're going to prison, probably not the smartest person in the first place, maybe.
Bulldozer attack.
What?
25 years ago, a TV film crew received an anonymous tip about a protest outside of a prison in Copenhagen and went there to document the event. What happened next was a bulldozer slamming into the brick wall of the jail and knocking it down, with prisoners running out of the hole like ants fleeing from their nest. They can be seen running down the street laughing and cheering.
I reckon at least one of them never got caught again.
Yeah, surely, right, because there's so many of them.
13 inmates escaped in total, some with lengthy jail terms for violent crimes and murder, with only 3 ever being
Oh, 10 of them got away.
Oy.
There's still 10 of them out on the loose.
Typically, you would think that installing air vents large enough for a man to squeeze through close to the floor would be a bad idea in a prison, but this was exactly how this trio gained access into the plumbing shafts behind the wall. They used ropes made out of bed sheets.
It's like Prison Break.
Literally.
And had a getaway van waiting with fresh clothes and a bottle of Jack Daniels for a celebratory drink.
See, they know what they're doing.
It only took 8 minutes for 3 inmates to complete their complex plan.
Why are they filming it?
Ironically, using a cell phone to film their escape from their cell. These guys traded 15 minutes of fame for an extra 15 years behind bars.
Oh, there you go. That should answer the question.
Arrested at school for fighting, this teenager was left alone in an interrogation room for only 10 seconds before he threw caution to the wind and fearlessly jumped out of a 16-foot-high second-story window. He may just have rubber bones, as he got straight back up after surviving the fall and got out of there as fast as his legs could carry him.
Surely you have to go back to school at some point.
The boy was found 3 hours later at his friend's house.
He could have died from that, like...
And he just dived as well, like he could have...
Just dive straight out.
This inmate had a pretty simple plan. He was being processed in a detention center. One of his buddies would distract the guard while he made his getaway. When he saw an extremely small window, he thought, think thin, over and over in his head before taking a running leap, diving through the window. Once outside, he got into the getaway car his girlfriend was waiting in, and they were off like a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde. 26 days later,
26 ain't bad.
They were discovered living in an abandoned house in the next state after an anonymous tip-off. The warden said he's taking extra steps and putting locking mechanisms on the window.
They did, right? In an abandoned house, they snitched on it, they've been fine. Oh, you know what you should have? Oh, somebody should have a wig waiting for you. So if you say he's bald, right, he should just wear a wig.
And never take off the wig.
If any of the Sidemen are never in prison, please bust us out. And we will,
yeah, if you see us on the run, give us a
No
lift.
snitches, man. Please don't snitch.